Hello, this is Bobby from Ragged Poet, and I've been trying to do this for a while, but life's been a bit crazy lately. It's a video response to Leisa from Mindful Tarot, and the tarot tag is Follow Your Suit, and I'll put all that bump in the little box underneath. I haven't watched all the videos because I haven't had much time to watch videos lately, but I've watched Leisa Tarot Alchemist, Leisa Mindful Tarot, who started the tag, Brian, Simon from Two Spirit, and Anneke from Nobody Here. And I've been so inspired. I was really confused over this tag at first, and everyone had a different take on it. I thought, oh, in the end, I thought, this is awesome. I'm just going to do my thing like I always do, and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I mean, I have got a lot of tags I want to do and videos to catch up on, but my computer is really, really quiet. It's just a MacBook, an old one. And when I'm working, I need something loud so I can listen in the background. And I'm trying to save up to get one of those Bluetooth, the really good Bluetooth speakers. I can't wear headphones because I'm always moving around, and Bluetooth ones just keep disconnecting. But I wanted to make this little request. When you record videos, if you have any way of controlling the volume, can you try and make them a bit louder, people? Most people I have a lot of trouble hearing, even at full volume, and there is a control in the settings so that you can, if you have it so that when your volume control is midway, it's quite audible. I mean, even on full volume, I can't hear them, and that's just generally across the board. There's just a couple of people that I can hear really well. So I'm having a sip of tea. But yeah, I love all your videos, but I just want to hear you as well. Okay, that's that. Yeah, so Follow Your Suit. I didn't know. All the cards that have been calling to me recently that I've been drawing have been mainly majors. There's no specific suit that's stood out. So what I'm doing is I'm following the story, my story in the cards, I suppose, more than my suit. And it has a kind of a story. There's certain cards that resonate so strongly with me in my life path, what's happened so far, and my personality and like how I live and cope with day-to-day life. So they're just so strong. I had to choose these cards. So I'm going to go through. I've chosen 4 different decks here because they're all decks I'm loving, use a lot. I have used a lot, except I haven't used the Pagan Otherworlds a lot because I only got it a week or 2 ago. But I do love it, although I sort of have a little bit of problem with as Anneke and I were saying earlier, the crossover between the RWS and the Pips, but I still love it. I love the wintry, earthy, pagan-y aspect of it. So I was going to start with, I mean, Cup's really cool to me because I'm such an emotional creature. I'm Cancer. I've got Cancer ascendant. I've said this before. I've got 9 planets in water. My dark moon, or my Lilith, is in Pisces, which is also water. So I am so emotional, and chalices really are a huge part of my life. But this card that I'm doing now. Oh, by the way, Anneke, you asked me to show you my big piece of raw obsidian. This is her. This is it, or him, or they. Let's get pronoun correct. I think it's they, because it's a multitude of things. So there's my hand, which, as you know, small like yours, but this is my baby. So the card that resonates most with me in the suit, I'm going to put on the obsidian, and they are going to look after it for us. So I guess the 5 of Pentacles, this card really resonates. I love winter. Every card that resonates with me mainly has a wintry, darker theme. I like the dark. But from the moment I was born, I felt an outsider, an alien on this planet. I still feel a lot like that. People just don't seem to get me, really. Or I've met the wrong people. I said a bit of this in my spiritual journey, but I've always been like an odd one out. Everyone really. My family think I'm a bit weird. Not all of them, but they say it jokingly. My ex thought I was kind of weird, I think. But it's a loving way to do it. But I do feel like, that I'm not part of everything. I used to feel all the time like a fly. Well, not like a fly, that would be just gross, but I used to feel like this thing on the wall, or this being that was hovering around the ceiling, watching but not actually being part of everything. And I've been like that my whole life. It's like I'm not actually there. I'm watching or observing, and it's not in a creepy voyeuristic way. It's more like I want to be, but I can't be. It's kind of hard. It's just being on the outside. And looking in. So this Five of Pentacles, I've had all my life, this feeling of being the outsider. Not being poor, not being spiritually poor, because it's not about that for me. It's about being the outsider. And these cards, well, this one from the Pagan Otherworlds really resonates because it's just got so wintry. And this, when I see bare trees and snow, which I haven't seen for a long time, my heart lifts with so much joy. So there is a lot of joy in being this outside person, especially when you're this tree in your perfect element. And your element might be outside. And even here, she's sitting under a tree and she got her empty purse. But I think I said on Instagram or something, I lived in a cardboard box before on the street. I've had nothing, but at the same time, I've had everything. I had the spirit to survive, and that's what's really important. The spirit, and this Five of Pentacles, although it's kind of a pretty desolate, sad card in many ways, the Arthurian Tarot, this is the Caitlin and John Matthews version, which I've had for many, many years. Shout out to Leisa, my darling, there, down beautiful, snowy south. You can see I trimmed mine. Doesn't it look better without those white borders? Sorry. The Tower in this version of the card, I think is fantastic because it shows to me this spiritual strength. It might be on the outside, it might be way up from nowhere, but it's got this huge spiritual strength. And towers are also something I've really resonated with and loved all my life. Like, I have what I call it the Rapunzel complex, because the tower, I love towers. And I've told you before, I have built a tower before, and I want to build another one. So this shows me that spiritual strength of the Five of Pentacles, the outsider card. And then this one, which is from the Deviant Moon, as you know, I know and love. This is from my gorgeous mini Deviant Moon, which was the original bordered version. Well, actually not my original bordered version. I couldn't bear to trim all the energy off that after years of use. But this is one I did a trade for something for. I think it was a Chrysalis Tarot. And I got their old unwanted original Deviant Moon with the borders, and I trimmed it and I edged it. And it is so gorgeous now. Look at it. It's so cute. And it's like having your own little Deviant Moon handbag deck. And then if you get the bordered, the new borderless one, I'll try and find that card in this deck. You can see how awesome they look together. I mean, you don't need two cards together, but I just like to play with this deck. It's just the be-all and end-all deck, really. I do like other decks. I like having other decks, but this one, it's the Deviant Moon. Oh, I can't say enough about it. It's just like, it's kind of as alien and on the outside as me. So this is the difference in size. So there's my little mini trimmed and edged one, and there's the borderless one. So aren't they gorgeous together? I love them. Anyway, so the Five of Pentacles is all about this feeling, being on the outside thing, as I said, which is really strong. But also this, because of that, this huge strength of spirit, which is shown here by this tower. For me, winter is joy. It's not a desolate time. And in this card, I also see like the spiritual strength. Like, my treasures are not on earth. The treasures are up here. They're in the mind space, in the space of what we believe and what we think we've got. And that's where you have to look to understand really what is going on sometimes. So, the Deviant Moon version is. This reminds me of when I was a kid, and we did have my mother and my sister. I had an amazing family, but we weren't. My mum had to work, and we didn't see much of her, and we never had a real. We always, I felt like a bit travelling, and we had great people who looked after us. I always used to looking at these real families that society sells you into from the outside and look into their lit windows and wish I was in there. But we don't know anything. We don't know what's going on behind those lit windows. And at the end of the day, I had the best family I could ever possibly have, and I still do. And again, there's the next card I'm going to talk about is part of all of that. So I'm going to put these ones away. And the next card, which ties closely in to the Five of Pentacles, is the Ten of Cups. And for this one, I think I'm going to put... I've also chosen another card to go with this, because in the Arthurian Tarot, I'll put them both up here. The Ten of Cups is like the home, the castle, the tower, and that's like the Holy Grail, really. And there's the Holy Grail down there. When you've got that, you've got everything. But the one that I prefer, the one I like better, and the one that speaks more of the Holy Grail and the home to me is this one here, the Ten of Pentacles, or Stone 10, because in Scotland there's a castle called Eilean, and it's on a peninsula opposite the Isle of Skye on the west coast. And it belongs to the McRaes and the Mackenzies, and I was a Mackenzie, and I love that castle. I went there, and I know it's my castle. I may have been there in another life. I don't know. But it looks identical to the one in this picture. It really looks so much like it. It's got exactly the same bridge going up to it, the road, and the snow. And I've had dreams about this castle. I've had so many visions and things of being there. And for me, the Holy Grail is to be with my family, my people, in a fortress surrounded by snow. And that's it. I had this Holy Grail in England, really. But something wasn't quite right for me. The family, everything was there. And so I broke it, and I came to New Zealand. And again, that will lead on to my next card. But you know, that whole family thing. This one I love from the Pagan Otherworlds, because the maypole is a big thing in England. It's done on Beltane or May Day. Well, Beltane is the 30th of April, the Eve, May Day Eve, and that's the day I became a mother. And when Tabby was older and my kids, I used to dance around the maypole traditionally at school and stuff. And so this is a real card for me about family joys and all of that love. And it's kind of a Tabby card too. Particularly this Pagan Otherworlds one, because it celebrates Beltane and May Day, and when I was in labour and becoming a mother for the first time, which everyone's got emotional doing these videos. It's why it's so amazing. Yeah, and family. That's it, really. I can't really say much more. You get the picture. You get the picture about the Ten of Cups. So then I had my Ten of Cups, or almost. Obviously, I thought I did. And I came to New Zealand. And then I get the Five of Cups. When I actually live in the past a lot, I don't know what I've got. There's another. I should have put the other card in between these two. I've got like these voices in my head saying, oh, you should have done this or you should have done that. And I shouldn't have left. They're in my own voices. I shouldn't have left England. I should have stayed. I should have made it work. And there's always this sadness, this leaving something behind, this looking for something that's not there anymore. And for me, the Grail 5 from the Arthurian, again, says that stronger than any of the other cards. I know it is its own system, but it speaks to me more strongly than these. Although this does, because it's got the castle. You can't really see it, but there's a little tower down there, and then there's a skull, which is like the death and the ending, and then you've got this discordant arrangement of cups here. So again, it's leaving that stuff that's left behind and that death, but you've got new things can happen, and you've got stuff. You just have to look at what you've got. So it's kind of a bit of a reflection of the Five of Pentacles. When I know what I've got, when I know I've got that spiritual strength. This is more about being here and being there, not having what I had there and ignoring what I've got here. I'm just going to remind myself what the Arthurian ones, because I haven't read this book for years. Okay, so the meaning of this card on the Arthurian is disillusion, disappointment, vain regret, the ability to learn from mistakes and assess one's limitations, broken agreements or promises. Well, that's kind of pretty true with my marriage and everything, because I did break an agreement and a promise. And also the vain, that thing is because I was told a long time ago, 12 years ago to be exact, almost 12 years ago, that when I used to have these regrets about coming to New Zealand, I was told that if that was ego speaking, which can be vain, that if my true self, my higher spirit, didn't want to come here, I would never have been allowed to come because it wouldn't let me. And I still haven't quite come to terms with that concept, but I think that card kind of resonates with that, really. So yeah, so that's very strong for me, because I always seem to look in the past, and what I had. Like, I'm always looking at these cups that were once full, and now empty, not these ones that are full. So I tend to live in the past, and for me, the Five of Cups is very much about living in the past. The Eight of Cups is walking away, but without regret, knowing you've got to move forward. But the Five of Cups hasn't got to that point yet. So again, that's another card that strongly resonates with me. And then the next one, which I probably should have done first, is the Six of Swords. And again, I think I'll put the Pagan Otherworlds up in that one. This one, I think, is again that leaving behind and having to move forward. Leaving because you need to leave something because it's not right. You're not feeling right. Something's wrong. But this regret about it at the same time. And once you get past these turbulent waters into the smooth waters, things are actually better. But I don't think I've got there yet. I'm still searching for something. I think that Holy Grail, aren't we all, to get there. This Arthurian card reminds me so much of my house here, my pond, and the boat. I've got an empty boat by my pond, and I've even got a little island of Avalon in the middle of it. And because the Deviant moon does it very differently. And I kind of like this take on it, because the thing that's actually moving this on is his thoughts. His thoughts are helping him to move forward. So this balloon is moving in that direction because his thoughts are moving in that direction. So although he's leaving something behind, and you can see the curve of the earth here, I don't know if you can see these the fires that got his journey started, that fueled up the balloon to begin with. And he's going away from that trouble, but he's got these thoughts which are positive thoughts to keep him going. He's not really looking back. This one, the boat's empty. So for me, it's like how I am. It's kind of got stuck. And this one's coming through to the end of its journey. It's got through the troubled waters, but it's still kind of a lonely looking sadness about this card. It's left this barren stuff that can't grow anymore behind, and it's got all this new growth here. But the guy here still looks desolate. This reminds me of when I used to live on a boat, when they had swing bridges. I mean, they didn't have them when I was on the boat, but horses used to pull them along, and they had these amazing bridges so they could walk either side of the towpath. But this has got the desolate. Both these cards have got that desolate feeling about them of the empty boat. That's a more positive take. And then we've got this one, which to me, again, you've got 5 swords in the boat, but you're losing one here. This one's going overboard. And that speaks to me again of that sense of leaving, because you need to. Something fires you up. Something makes you leave, but you're leaving something behind. And you can't start something new without leaving something behind. There's always going to be things left behind. And again, like my 5 of Cups and like the things I've spoken about so far, I'm stuck. I feel stuck in this place. I'm not got off the boat. I might have got off the boat, but I haven't. It's still sitting there waiting because nothing is quite finished yet. And that brings me on to my next card about never being able to relax and chill. So I think you get the 6 of Swords thing. So the final card I chose, so I seem to have Cups, Swords. I haven't got any Wands because I don't have a problem with passion and stuff. That's all, you know. No, I don't want that one at the top. Which one? This one. Oh, this is my favourite ever card from the Deviant Moon deck, as Patrick knows. I have the big Gickley print of it. I've got the what do you call it? Medallion of it. We'll have 2 versions of it because it's so good. I can't show you the big print because it's behind glass and it reflects really bad. Let's have our 2 Deviant Moons there as well, just for loveliness. So the 7 of Pentacles is, for me, it's about exactly like it says in this Arthurian. You've got to a certain point, you've got to a milestone, but there's still a long way to go. And there might be some cloudy skies ahead you've still got to weather. So I love learning, and this card speaks to me of learning, but I love learning outside of the institution. And to me, the buildings in the background here, these are the institution, the factories and the cities. I've chosen my own path and it's on the outside. So this card in the Deviant Moon speaks very strongly to me of being out on my own and learning my craft. And reaching up for that spiritual. Those 5 pentacles that were in the original, well, 7 here, but there were 5 in the original card I showed you, the 5 of Pentacles, hanging in the tree. And this card, the Deviant Moon one, really reminds me of that. I'm going to find them. There we go. There's the 5 of Pentacles. So this person here is reaching, I'm going to leave that one there anyway, for these pentacles, aspiring to it. This, what would be like the Holy Grail. And it is a milestone. So I think there's always something else to do. There's always something else to do. I never actually get where I want to. I thought I'd got where I want to maybe 15 years ago with my family and my house and my tower and my snow-covered fairy tale cottage in England. But obviously I had to do something more. And I'm quite impulsive in a way, although I wasn't for years and years. But when it comes upon me, there's no stopping it. And something urged me to try and do this other thing, to fulfill whatever it was I need to fulfill, to keep searching for this Holy Grail. And I still actually don't really know what it is. I have a lot of trouble moving on from being the family and the mother. I'm always going to be the family and the mother. So this 7 of Pentacles is about my life path. It's learning still. I'm still learning. I've come so far. I've got a way to go. I'm looking at where I've got so far and weighing it up. You know, have I done right or wrong? And the Pagan Otherworlds is kind of looking at the harvest, but there's still so much more to do. There's still a long way to go. This really doesn't. It seems all kind of tight and everything, but it isn't, because it's not finished. So this card really is kind of an illusion of completeness. The harvest is not really, you're not really quite there yet. You're only halfway. So, but the other ones really speak strongly about what I mean. This continuing to learn on the journey, which I think is obviously something I'm meant to be doing, because I haven't got where I need to be yet, and I don't even know what that is. And maybe it's best that way. Maybe we don't need to know where we are. So those were my my cards. I think I had the 5 of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups or Chalices, the 6 of Swords, and the 7 of Pentacles. And I didn't follow a suit, but I had, you know, I think I had 2 pentacles, 1 sword, and no, I had 5 cards. I had 2 cups, didn't I? Yeah. So that's that, and I'll thank you for all the lovely comments on my videos, and thanks for and everyone seems to like the things that I have around me. They're usually things that are lying on my kitchen table or my altar, wherever I tend to make the video. And I made this clove. When we're in England, we used to make clove oranges, and they're amazing. And this time of year, because it's Yule coming up here and like autumn, it's not winter yet, but it is autumn. We had the first or second frost today. You get an orange and you stuff it with cloves, literally. And it takes ages. You don't have to put as many as I have, but I made a mistake with this one because I was going to make a video last week when I was making it. But I didn't have time to make the video, so I'd left a few cloves out and it went soft. I'm hoping it will harden up because the cloves actually preserve the orange. And my ex-husband, my kid's dad, he loved them, and I used to make him one every Christmas. And they go hard, and the smell is, well, it comes from an old-fashioned Elizabethan-style pomander. The smell is incredible, and they do last a long time. So that's my clove orange that I made last week. And this is my little altar broom that I made yesterday. That was just for a walk up in the woods, and this is just pine needles, and you just pull off a bit of pine branch. I ask and thank the tree. You don't want a dead one, really. And then I got a few more little bunches of pine needles to thicken it up, and joined them onto the ones on this branch. Just held them there, bound it in very fine wire, then wrapped it with a bit of red cotton, and then gave it a trim. And there's my little besom, which is a Scots name for a broom or a nagging woman. So that's another thing that's on my altar. This is something that I've shown you, the obsidian. This is something I've had for many, many years. I think I got it in an art swap or someone gave it to me. It's my guardian angel. It's just a painting. It's covered in like sea glass. Well, that's a piece of sea glass. So yeah, so that's around. And then my decks, and that's it really. So on that note, I shall say thank you for listening. Thank you very much, Leisa, for your original video. And thank you so much to all the people who've replied, all those I haven't watched yet, and to the ones I have watched, and for sharing so much. And I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.